Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood, joined alongside Jason Mackey from The Fan. Hi, Jason. How are you doing tonight?
Cassidy, I'm doing great. How are you? Good to talk to you.
Good. Jason, just 2 days away from the big game, Super Bowl Sunday, just around the corner. And, you know, it's unfortunate the Steelers aren't in it this year. So close, right? But, hey, look.
Yeah.
I think there's a few storylines that Steelers fans can still kind of root for in this one. Obviously, you have the redemption story with Sam Darnold on that side of the ball. And then on the other side, watching Mike Vrabel take his team back to the Super Bowl, the first guy in history, by the way, to do that as a coach and a player with the same franchise. So still a lot of storylines. You know, you and I like to root for the storylines naturally. So a lot to root for on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And I was doing a bit on the radio earlier tonight about things that the Steelers can look at and emulate or steal in their own game, and I think there's a lot there. I mean, look at two organizations that have the quarterback position figured out. They've done it different ways, Cassidy. I mean, I don't expect the Steelers to go 4-13 and wind up with a Drake May style of quarterback. Wouldn't mind if that was the outcome. That would be great. It's probably more of a Sam Darnold mold, but I also look at the Seattle Seahawks and even what the Patriots have done with Stephon Diggs and some really talented wide receivers. And I think that's an area with Mike McCarthy's offense. I'm really looking at this offseason and the draft specifically, thinking that the Steelers need to improve their wide receiver talent. There's nowhere near enough out there right now. There's some pieces, but they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and sticking with the Steelers here for a minute because, I mean, it's been a minute, Jason, since you and I were on here together, and now McCarthy has solidified that entire coaching staff, got the offensive coordinator in here, defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, and then Angelico from the Vikings. Just now that he's solidified his supporting cast, what do you make of this coaching staff? Do you think, does it excite you? Do you think this is going to be set up the Steelers for success?
It does. I don't want to say it excites me or it doesn't excite me, Cassidy. I mean, I like that Mike McCarthy has been forward-thinking in a lot of his head coach hires. I like that they're expanding the staff. I think both of those things were necessary. I don't have a problem with the Patrick Graham hire. I think people kind of get too caught up in results and maybe don't think as much about process or what this guy's been working with. He comes to Pittsburgh with a pretty decent reputation. You know, understanding that the Vegas Raiders were not very good defensively, but is that more the amount of talent he was given, or was that a lack of preparation? And if you look at how they've invested in the defense in the draft, it hasn't been very heavy. I mean, they've spent a lot of their picks on offense. So I look at somebody like Patrick Graham and think with the pieces the Steelers have in place, really liking the Derek Harmon pick, Y.A. Black. I think they improved their defensive line. They have some questions in the secondary, certainly. I'd like to see them address them in the draft. But a nice stable of edge rushers, and the Steelers obviously spend a lot on defense. So you have a veteran group that should be able to handle a lot that's thrown at it. I think there's some reasons for optimism here.
Yeah, and I think on the offensive side of the ball as well, Angelico, he's a little bit of a question mark. You know, he ran the tight end group out there in Minnesota, and the tight end play with the Vikings was a little bit questionable last season. But I think at the end of the day, look, McCarthy is going to be the one making the offensive play calls, and he just needs someone to come in here that has experience, that previous experience with him, which they do. They have spent time together before in Green Bay. So I do think hiring a guy like Angelico will work out as well.
Yeah, I like that, Cassidy. I like the Angelico hire. And you know why I like it? Because of what he did in Minnesota. Because what he was able to help quarterbacks get better within a system. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't really need a system designed for him, but it's the ability to recognize what a quarterback does well and accentuating that. And you also involved your wide receivers in a very substantial way. I think that's one misstep that Arthur Smith made. You know, even maybe it was tight ends, maybe it was wide receivers. Like, you weren't taking advantage of the pass catchers you had, and whether it was Angelico or Kevin O'Connell. I mean, there's some great offensive minds there that guy's been a part of, and I hope that he brings some of that knowledge and willingness to do certain things with Steelers pass catchers that I think will help them.
Agree with that. All right, guys, this is our Penn West University question of the night. Will Andrew McCutchen play for the Pirates this season? Yes or no? We do have our Pirates insider, Jason Mackey, on tonight, so we'll dive into a little Bucco talk right after our break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night. Pitt Panthers, one of the greatest to ever do it, Larry Fitzgerald, is a Pro Football Hall of Fame first ballot inductee, of course, alongside Drew Brees. Super exciting, and it's going to be interesting, too. A lot of eyebrows were raised during the voting this time around, Jason. Bill Belichick not getting in, and now next year, the list of eligible candidates is quite long. Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, alongside many others. So next year will be very interesting as well. But shout out Larry Fitzgerald.
Ben has to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, Cassidy. Come on. I mean, I was doing this bit earlier on the radio. I don't understand how he's not. I have nothing. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's top 10 in passing yards and touchdowns and what he's won, the awards. Come on. I had somebody call in and say that his late career wasn't good enough, whatever. I mean, look at what the guy has accomplished, sum total.
Exactly. You take it in totality, right? You don't take a section of it. So I agree with you there.
No. And I wouldn't vote for AB. I don't think AB belongs in.
Really? Interesting.
I would not first ballot.
Because in the same argument, if you look at the totality, I don't know. Those first few years.
He's 28th in receiving yards. He's 28th in receiving yards.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. All right.
What did he win?
That's true. All right, before we tossed it to break, this is our question, you guys. Will Andrew McCutchen play for the Pirates next season? Now, Jason, last time we were on together, we squeezed it in there at the end. There was a little bit of drama going on between Kutch and the Pirates. He had that long tweet about coming back this season. So just, is there any more insight on the Kutch Pirates situation? And do you think he's going to come back and play next year?
I'll do the second part first, Cassidy. I do think he comes back. I think both sides have sort of realized that this is important. It is important. It's important in the right context. I mean, they shouldn't shoehorn it in, but I don't think they're going to have to. I think probably what you're going to see, and maybe even over the weekend, is a trade that involves Joey Bart. And if they trade Joey Bart, Andrew McCutchen suddenly fills a role that Bart filled, basically a player without a defined defensive position who hits left-handed pitching well. And if you get Joey Bart off the roster, not that he's a problem, but he has trade value and he can be helped to get a third baseman. So you make that move and then it frees up a role for Andrew McCutchen. And I think they could say that this is his final year. I understand that he is kind of cooled on not wanting to say that they might just come right out and say this is going to be it for Kutch. But I do think he's on the roster, and I think it benefits the Pirates, Cassidy. I think it benefits Kutch. I think it benefits the fan base. It's how this thing should end.
Now, pitchers and catchers report this week are heading down to Florida here soon. Oh, bummer, you're going to get out of this weather. But Jason,
someone has to do it. Someone has to do it.
Tough job, tough job. But Jason, what do Bucco fans, what can they expect to see or anticipate to see come out of the out of your reporting throughout this week when pitchers and catchers report?
There's so much, Cassidy. Big 30,000-foot view. Things have to be different.
Yeah.
There's stated urgency. Travis Williams saying period, full stop. The goal is to make the playoffs. They're very open about it. Adding Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, Jake Mangum, Mason Montgomery, Gregory Soto. And they're not done. They're going to add some more pieces as well. They have to get to the playoffs. They have to show their fans that they're serious. They have to produce results. There's no more developing. This is year 3 of Paul Skenes. They've wasted the first 2. It's unacceptable to waste another one. Individual battles. I want to see if Connor Griffin is ready to make the opening day roster. He's an exciting prospect, the best in all of baseball. If he shows that he's ready, it's on the Pirates to allow him to do that. But, is O'Neal Cruz going to improve? Is Brian Reynolds going to improve? What's Henry Davis going to give them behind the plate? Is Jared Triolo going to take another step? There's so many storylines. This team should be really good pitching-wise. It needs to find enough offense to get by. They were the worst in baseball by a pretty wide margin last year. If they can get to like 18th or 19th, I think they'd probably have something.
Do you think they've added enough pieces to at least be in the conversation come towards the end of the season when we're talking about playoff contenders?
Not yet. Not yet. I think they have at least 2 moves I want to see them add a third baseman who lengthens their lineup, somebody that can hit 1 through 6, and I think they will. I don't know whether if that becomes Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, Isak Paredes. There's a couple names out there that you hear a lot. They need to add a starting pitcher. They need to add a left-hander. Jose Urquidy is not that. I like the Jose Urquidy ad, but he's a depth signing more than anybody. They need to add, Jose Quintana, Tyler Anderson. Those are 2 people that they've been interested in. But add a depth veteran starter so that their young guys don't get taxed with innings so much.
All right, well, with that, let's go out to the phone lines. We have John in Cranberry. John, what's going on?
Hey, Cassidy and Jason, it's good to talk to you again. So, hey, first of all, I wanted to say I saw that the Penguin owners might be buying the Post-Gazette. I'm really hoping that happens for, Jason, Brian Bacco. You guys do a great job, and I just hope it all works out for you. I wanted to say that first. But the reason I'm calling is I'm calling about the Tariq Skubal signing yesterday by the Tigers. He got the biggest free agent contract in arbitration contract in history. And that $32 million deal, which the Tigers offered $19 million, is going to impact, I think, Paul Skenes. And so what I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you think it'll work out with Paul? Work stoppage aside, if we do, I know we might have a work stoppage in 2027, but how do you think the economics will work out? Would it force the Pirates to trade Paul, or will they sign him? Thanks for taking my call.
I mean, at the end of the day, it did move the needle, so the Pirates are going to have to pay up, right, Jason?
Yeah, it actually doesn't have that much of an impact. And not to throw water over John's question, but I mean, we knew this. We knew Paul Skenes in his final year of arbitration was going to make a lot of money. I don't expect the Pirates to pick it up, sadly. They're probably not going to pay, and it's going to be above $32 million because add a couple years onto it. If Paul Skenes makes $35, $36 million, I would expect the Pirates to trade him before that final year of arbitration, as sad as it is. If they win this season, maybe you have a conversation about an extension. I think Paul would be amenable to it, but they have to win first. But as of now, we knew he was going to make a lot of money. Now it's just tangible proof, I guess. But I think Paul stays for probably 3 more seasons, and then they trade him the offseason going into his 6th and final year of team control.
And it is unfortunate, too, because Paul seems like the kind of guy that would want to stick around and want to be here and want to play in Pittsburgh long term. And, I mean, he's said time and time again he wants to help take the Pirates to the World Series, and he's not joking when he says that. So it's unfortunate that a team can't cough up the funds to be able to make that happen.
I mean, this is very black and white, Cassidy. I've talked to Paul about this. I've talked to people close to Paul about this. He wants to win, and he wants to, every year in his professional career, he wants to have a chance to win a World Series. And so if the Pirates win, that conversation changes. But until it does, he wants to put himself in a position to win a World Series. And, unfortunately, that's probably the cold, hard reality. He's not going to say it, I can. It's going to cause him to look elsewhere. And it's also just the economics of Major League Baseball, that a player that's going to make what Paul Skenes makes, there's no way on planet Earth that the Pirates can afford that.
Yeah. All right, back out to the phone lines. We have Emmett. Emmett, what's going on? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going, Emmett?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Did you have a question for us?
Yes.
All right, we have Brad in Brookline. Brad, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Good evening.
Not yet.
I'd like to talk about Andrew McCutchen. He is 39 years of age. How does it benefit the Pirates of re-signing him? Out of 24 full-time DHs, he ranked 23rd. I mean, give me somebody younger. Give me somebody in the system. Andrew McCutchen needs to retire.
I think it's more not so much his numbers on the field at this point in his career. I think it's more so he doesn't want to go out, after a season like last season. I think he wants one more year to be able to say goodbye to fans and do it the right way and have, sort of a retirement tour. And he didn't get that last year, and he doesn't want to end it that way. And I think it's as simple as that. And the Pirates, on the flip side, want to thank him for the years that he has spent here, and they also want to do it the right way.
Yeah, Brett, and he's not going to be a full-time DH either. If they sign him, they're going to rotate through that position. And Ryan O'Hearn will see some at-bats there, maybe Spencer Horwitz, maybe O'Neal Cruz, maybe Brian Reynolds. He's not going to get, 500 plate appearances. At least he better not. They'll use Andrew McCutchen to do what he does well, that's hit left-handed pitching. And I would argue that Andrew McCutchen deserves to have this end appropriately. He's given so much of himself to the Pirates. He's such an important player. I don't want to see it end negatively. So, there's a place for Andrew McCutchen on this roster. I would also argue that last year, he wasn't the only player that saw his numbers dip. He didn't have his best year. I understand that. I personally don't think Andrew McCutchen's a 700 OPS guy. He's probably more 730, 740.
Agree with you. All right, we're going to head to our last break, guys. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this.